Yesterday what we did is we found the surface area by adding up squares. That is specific to one thing. When we know exactly the size of it. But with formulas in algebra, it doesn't matter the size. We just fill in the information we know into different formulas. So today what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the formulas of prisms. I have a rectangular prism. I have a rectangular prism, and I'm going to measure the front and the back. So we're going to say that this is the front right here. And what shape is that? Okay, that is a rectangle. And what is how do you find the area of a rectangle? Length times width. But this one here is the length, but this width here is actually the height, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to do length times height. Do lowercase letters, please. And to make sure that doesn't look like an L, or a 1 rather, I'm going to add just tiny little italicized marks to it. Yes, ma'am?
Why aren't we supposed to use capital letters?
Because capital letters are the solution to a formula. Lowercase are the portions that you add in the data. And we have that times 2. Stop talking. 2 times LH. 2 times length times height, because there's 2 of them. There's one in the front and one in the back. Then we have top and bottom. And if this is going to be length, if that's length, what should this side here be? Width. Good. And since there's a top and a bottom, it's going to be 2 times length times width. And don't confuse my italicized L as being a poor handwriting 2. And finally, we have the sides. So now I'm looking at this part right here. What are the dimensions shown as we put there? Yes? Yes, height times width. And there's 2 of them as well, so I'm going to do 2WH. And I'm just going to, here, I'll do this. Just so you can see what's what. So now I'm going to write down the formula that you guys are going to be using in your homework for every rectangular prism. It's the surface area is equal to, and I'm just going to combine all of these things into a formula, because that's what we found out yesterday. We had to add all the sides together. So I'm going to pull out the 2 because there's 2's in all of these. There's one here, and there's one here. But I want to just make it easier to read and plug in information rather than writing 2 that many times. So I have LH plus LW plus WH. All of those are combined. I'm going to make this W's prettier. There. And I'm going to box that in because that's something you need to use really well. You will have that information on your you will have that information provided for you at the test. Purple? Yes, sir. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Any questions on that? By the way, I mentioned this to your parents in an email, but if you want to print up the notes and not use color ink, have it print in gray style, because I use different colors so you can see what's going on and it jumps out at you. But if you want your own copy of my notes, print in gray style. That way you don't have to waste that expensive colored ink. No, gray, in gray style, what that does is it only uses black ink. If you have less dots close together, black looks gray. Triangular prism. So we are going to use the bases as being how you identify the prism. Okay? So to help you recognize what's going on with this, I'm going to make a couple of these lines be dotted. So you guys can see that that is going to be the background. I have an answer.
Does changing like one little part of it change your whole view? What are you saying?
Yeah, it's the way that I erased only one line and it made it switch around. So now that I made those dots, you can see what the front is supposed to be. And here's what I did with my other classes. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate what the front of this is again. So there's a guy that's riding a bike this way. Okay, and he's going to ride off into here, and he's going to land in this pool. So he's going to jump off and land in a pool that's back there. Do you see what the front of it is, though, now? Okay. So now we have the bases. First off, you have to recognize what is the shape of a triangular prism as far as surface area goes. Let's go back in time. And here's the triangular prism when it's spread out. So we have 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. And what is the area of a triangle? Area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to find my height. Use a different color. Here's my height. Here's my base. Excuse me. Then I'm going to have width and length. So I have back and front. Back and front is going to be length times width, isn't it? Because it's going to be, here's the front. That's the one that the cyclist is jumping over. So we have width times length. We're going to multiply that by 2, so it becomes 2WL. If I didn't say this already, please. Oh, I did already. I just erased it, but what are the bases? Bases are the things that identify the prism. And what shape is the base, Mandy? It is a triangle. So it's 1/2 base times height. And when you have half of something and then someone doubles that half, how much do you have? Yeah, you have the whole. So that means if I had 1/2 multiplied by 2, I just have what I had before, which is base times height. Then we have the bottom of it. We have the bottom of it, and if we're talking about the bottom, that would be this side by this side. So what would that be? Yeah. Length times width. We already took care of this, the front where he's jumping off of. It's the bottom of it, the part that we're placing down. Mr. Sparrow. Base times width. Very good. So now I'm going to put all those in a nice, pretty formula. Surface area is equal to 2WL plus BH plus BW. And I hope that you're circling those as well, because that's going to be a reference point that you guys are going to want to see and have in front of you when you do your homework. Surface area. Now, yes, sir. Oh, base. Like that? Sorry. Now, if in your homework, what you have is this sign, and that sign. What does that mean? Can someone raise your hand and tell me? Actually, hopefully all you can tell me, because we just had a test on that. Who haven't I heard from today? Joey, what do you think? They're congruents, exactly. Can you tell me what kind of congruency is a triangle with all congruent side lengths? That's 2. Here's a clue. When all sides are equal on a triangle, that's the equilateral. Equilateral. Yeah, it's an equilateral triangle, okay? Equilateral, equal, yeah. So if that were the case, and it's an equilateral triangle, you could just do this. Because it's all 3 sides, so you're going to have the exact same. So that's just for you to know if you wanted to do that, because on the homework, that's how it is for your first one. Okay. A cylinder. Now, a cylinder, and there was a way that I demonstrated this for people, and I want to make sure that, and luckily right before I started recording this, I found a GIF image of it on the interwebs. Yes? Oh, it would be 3 BW, so it would just be, yeah, because that would be the top, the bottoms, and the sides. So the bottom would have the same as the front. Yep. Now, when you think of a cylinder, and we unload the mat, and we untie the cylinder from being together, what 2 shapes are we looking at? Sparrow. Rectangular circle. Anything to add to that? Garrett? No? Rectangular circle? Yeah. Another circle. Let's go back in time again. It's a rectangle and a circle on the top and a circle on the bottom. So you weren't wrong, but you just weren't as specific. So you're good. So that's the top, side, bottom. So going back to what we're looking at now, whenever I want to find the surface area, we're going to find the surface area of a rectangle, and we're going to find the surface area of 2 circles. And here's the 2, so we just need to find the area of a circle. What is the formula for an area of a circle? What do you think, Michael? No? Schneider? So this right here, the area of that, that's true, pi r squared. So we're finding the area, top and bottom, we have pi r squared. And twice that much is going to be 2 pi r squared. You don't see how it's a circle? See this page break right here? Okay. Now we have to figure out, because we know the curved surface, when it's unfolded or unwrapped, it's what? What shape is it? It's a rectangle. It's a rectangle. So I know that a rectangle is length times width. But the bottom line is, I don't have a length times width as I see it. However, we do because we have a height and a radius. And here's how that looks. So here is, look at the edge. Look at the edge. See where it's red? Where did the side of that rectangle come from? Where did the side of the rectangle come from? It's an edge, isn't it? And what is that edge measured as? As it closes again, I want you to tell me if there's a way that we can measure the length of that yellow line or that red line. Mandy, what is it? Yes, it's the It's the circumference. It's the circumference. The circumference is the area, or is the length of that side of the rectangle. So that means that I'm going to have my length be the circumference, which the circumference is 2 pi r. I'm going to multiply that by the width. And if I unloaded it, so let's look at this here. Once again, what is going to be the width of this? It's going to be a green line. Look at the width of your rectangle. What is it? How does it apply? How are we going to find out the length of that green line? Joey, what do you think? Take a stab at it. It's no problem getting something wrong right now. Now look at that green line. Does that have anything to do with the circle? What do you think? Nope, it has nothing to do with the circle. Yes. Diameter has something to do with the circle. It has nothing to do with the circle. See how it's in the very middle of that circle? It's the same something as the rectangle. Jack, what do you think? Garrett. Yes, that's it. Height. Look at this. The width of that blue rectangle is the height of the cylinder. See that? Look at the green line. It's the height of the cylinder. And that's how it applies here. Boom. So we have length times width is 2 pi r times height. 2 pi r times height. So I'm going to rewrite this up here. The surface area of a cylinder is equal to 2 pi r squared plus. So that's the circles, because it has a square. That's a giveaway. 2 pi r height. No, I don't want that. Formula, yes, geometry is formulas. So there's the other one. Now I've been boxing in all of those, so that's what I expect you guys to have as well. So if I were to zoom out here and I were to look at your notes, maybe not that far. Wow, that sounded weird. If I were to zoom out this much and I would see that that's, when you first look at that page, what do your eyes go to? The boxes, because when you're doing your homework and you have your notes sitting right next to it, you look at the boxes. And if you can't put 2 and 2 together from the examples in your homework, then you look at the back side of the notes that we're going to start right about now. I'm going to go right to left. Sparrow. That is the answer. We don't have any numbers, so that's as far as we can go. That's like the formula. We're not done. Abby? Okay. So does everybody's notes look like this, maybe in better handwriting? Okay, maybe worse for some of you. I don't know. I do know, actually. All right. Yeah, when we go examples, we'll put it together. It could be better. My handwriting could be better. Now, on your homework tonight, I expect you to have those 3 formulas written on the page itself when I give it to you, in addition to your notes. Okay? So you get used to writing that. So since I can't see my formula on this back side and keep flipping back and forth, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the formula for a cylinder right about now. Surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r times h. So I could just say 2 pi r h, because that's all multiplication anyway. And I'm going to use 3.14 for pi. 3.14 for pi, 10 minutes. If you're having trouble with this at all whatsoever when you're doing this for homework tonight, I want to make sure that you are identifying what the items are. So I have 2.2, and I'm going to start moving along a little bit faster here. That is my radius. I could just say r. Then I have 5 centimeters, which is my height. Now what I have to do is I have to go back, and I'm going to substitute in. I'm going to rewrite this whole thing. I'm going to substitute my r's in. And I'm going to substitute my h in. So I'm just going to rewrite that. And I'm going to also substitute 3.14 for pi now. Yes, didn't run out of room. So I would have that rewritten. I would have that rewritten. And whenever I write that SA, it should be a smaller a. And when I do this in my calculator, I'm going to come up with 30.3952. And on this side, I'm going to have 69.08. Earlier today, when people are making this mistake, they were forgetting to square the 2.2. Remember, hit the equal button often. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the radii and stuff like that once again, just so we know. For our fans at home. So I can try to steal some subscriptions from Jamichael and Avery. So after I add those two together, I have the surface area of this prism is going to be 99.4752 centimeters squared. And if you don't have units on tomorrow's homework, you will get a quarter point taken off, just like it was today. I just did. Is it like averysfishingblunders.com or something? I don't know. Does anybody not have that finished copied yet? Does anybody not have that finished copied yet? Thank you. We're moving along. Now we have a rectangular prism here, so I'm going to rewrite the surface area for a rectangular prism. Yes, sir. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But no, I'm not trying to make money off of YouTube. I'm trying to help kids learn. Yes? Yeah. Who's taking you? All right, moving along, we're going to substitute everything in there. I'm going to identify what these three sides are. I have my length, which is 6 inches. I have my width, which is 5 inches. And I have my height, which is 4 inches. I have identified all of my sides, and you need to be sure to do that when you are doing your homework. And just to let you know, as far as your homework goes tonight, this is the minimum amount of stuff that I would expect to see. I would expect to see, that's wrong color. I want to see this, I want to see this, and I want to see this on your homework. That's the very minimum that I need to see for every single one. Is that clear? Yeah. Good. That is the very minimum of what I'm going to see when I'm looking at your homework. Because if not, I won't know where you're going wrong, so we can get some help if you're having trouble. Now we have to sub in this information. So I have surface area is equal to 2. My length is 6 times height, which is 4, plus length times width, that's 6 times 5, plus width times height, which which is 5 times 4. And that's it. I got to do this. Here's a bracket. Got to take care of those first. Surface area. 2 times 24 plus 30 plus 20. And I'm doing this without a calculator, the same way that you guys could. 54, 74. Yes. And I zipped through that, I know, but I want to get through the next example in the next 4 minutes. Joey, sit up here, brother. You don't have to squint. That's harmful for your eyeballs. Any questions on that? So all we're doing is just identifying and plugging it in, plugging it in, plugging it in. Finally, we have our triangle. Now we have our triangle. We are going to have our base. We have our height. And we have our, what's our other one? Width. And because this has these markers right here, we know that our base is the same as our length. Which is 8 centimeters. So I'm going to write in the surface area. I keep saying service area for volleyball. Surface area. Plus 2 L dubs plus B dubs. Now I just plug that in. Surface area equals, my base is 8. My height is 3. Plus 2 LW. 2 L is 8. W is 12. Plus base times 12. Okay, yeah, you definitely understand this. Here you go. I'm going to continue filling this one out as Bradley is passing out the homework. $1,660 plus 32. 8096. $24 plus 96 is 120. 192 equals. So it's 2. Thank you. 202, 212, 312. No way. I'm way off, aren't I? What'd I do wrong? 24. 16 times 12 is 160. 160 plus 16 times 12, 160 plus 32. 192, yeah. Get out of there. 96. 1. Oh, I did this wrong 5th period. Bye, guys. Have a great day.